God's sake, what is going on?
She does
She
feel
looks
kind of
annoyed.
cold. Hungry though.
What?
She does also feel kind of cold while hungry.
She looks really frustrated and really annoyed. She looks at it Sorius and says, "If you mention whale one more time, I'm gonna punch you. Not enough that I'm cold, I'm hungry, I have smoke around me."
It
So,
actually is fading now, sort of beginning to disappear a little.
oh great, it's fainting. That helps a little.
Did you say you're cold?
Yes. Don't touch me.
Is there a spark of fire next to you? It goes away, but there's a spark of fire next to you for a second.
You probably need to eat blubber, that's my guess.
We don't have blubber.
You can import.
That would be the worst thing. The Mifflins tracking us down by looking at the imports of blubber.
The blubber imports.
Oh god.
The
There's been a large spike in
What is
gas
it
fuel
gonna be?
recently.
Fire is nice and warm.
Cash looks at her group. I can't leave the house because the smoke. But she looks at you. You know what? Never mind. She looks to Trick. And ask him in private to see if he can get any kind of. She looks really annoyed. Whale meat or something like that.
A sort of frown as he nods and says he'll go try.
She nods and says thank you.
Excuse me, do any of you sell whale?
She comes back to the group, looking really annoyed and very cold.
When Zacharias gets back to the man, he will call out for Scarabus and Scrath, the bone devils.
Oh, sure. Appear after a little bit.
Where did Raiju go?
They appear on the dining table.
What?
He went out partying.
Oh, cool.
He's gassed and all. He's not going to waste his time.
It's probably a good idea.
He will appear after a little while. Crawling along the walls.
Yeah, Zacharias will address them. Your new mission, then. We are looking for the blade Hellbrand, the Angel Killer. It is an artifact of Hell, and should be perhaps easy for you to find. I am not sure. It disappeared, well, it was carried by Lictor Vestromo near, around the coast of Davrin, I think. If you could search for it.
Yes, we have been searching that area already. We will get right on it then.
Find the blade. That is of utmost importance. Now get to it.
Poof away again.
Cash looks
Brief this time.
annoyed at Zacharias. You're supposed to be intelligent.
Zacharias looks at her.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and it won't stop. And I have smoke coming out of me.
I'm not a shaman, Lady Cash. I can certainly take a look at the effect, but this is not the magic I usually work. I guess I'll move closer and take a look. Use a spellcraft, maybe, to try to see what the effect does, if that works.
Go ahead and try.
Knowledge shaman.
It seems that Cash's body currently is in a state of, well, it sort of seems to be slowly expending all its energy, all her body heat, on simply exuding this smoke. And as her body heat sort of lowers, it seems that the smoke is less and less. It, however, also sees that her circulatory system has been changed quite a bit to potentially be able to withstand very large amounts of heat for a very short time. And maybe even reload like a battery. Exposure.
So, Zacharias will mumble, well, it seems that you are exuding a lot of heat, Lady Cash. Perhaps then putting yourself into heat could recharge your depleting reserves. The body seems to be getting rid of it as much as it can. He sort of motions to Asurius. I am sure the Arch Ignum could provide you with as much fire as you would possibly need.
Need a limitless amount.
I suggest we try that.
Azurius will look. He'll look around and see if there's something he can use as a fuel to keep it going.
Like a burn
And
table.
We have like a fireplace, I'm sure, in the manor.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. He'll just click his fingers and the fireplace will ignite.
Sure.
Try sticking your hand in the fire, Lady Cash.
She looks at cigarettes like, are you stupid?
This is research, Lady Cash. Trial and error. That's how it works. He smiles.
Cash looked really annoyed and goes, fine. And she'll put her hand inside the fireplace.
Well, sure. Alright, it hurts a whole damn lot. And as it does burn her, instead of getting sort of burns, she just smokes a whole damn lot of black smoke from her skin. It takes a little bit before that then sort of stops, clearly not able to sustain anymore, and then her hand just begins to blister and get burn sores as usual.
Well, she will take it out when it starts to hurt at the point it starts to blister.
It felt actually, decent. She is satiated a little bit, but probably maybe this is just maybe sticking her hand in the fire is not what she needs, and as she sort of breathes some of the smoke, it actually does, breathing it is not half bad.
It's being warmer, but not in a fire.
Is she still hungry?
She wants smoke, basically.
Seems like she can breathe the smoke and breathe the cinders and heat and ashes in the air.
And that satisfies her
Yes.
hunger.
It seems so. In addition, it seems that when she is burned, she will get sort of a little bit of an outburst of energy, really. But that is quickly used up. Mostly to remove some of the damage from their initial burns. Can set you.
Well, seems like you consume smoke then, Lady Cash.
So she's gonna have to come into my bonfire every morning.
She looks confused. I eat smoke?
There's worse things to eat. Whale blubber, for example.
You could drink the water from someone's skin, looking to kind of.
Oh dear. I got the spirit of the deep volcano.
I think that'd be more appropriate for me. Oh well.
Which is also, you're salt and dry. That's certainly associated with fire.
I guess it's also appropriate.
You consume water.
No, I consume
You consume smoke.
Yeah,
heat and smoke.
You like smoke. Mm.
You have to come to my morning bonfire.
We will have like a smoke hut, like outside where we live. We'll like have, fire burning all the time, and Cash can sit in there with all the like meat that we're smoking.
You've seen Azurius' prayers in the morning. They normally involve big fireworks of fire. Should be fine.
There you go.
Ugh.
Wonderful, wonderful.
A volcano.
So the question is then, do we want to return to Davern? I guess we have our prison there to hole up in.
We have our prison. We have an incoming Theodore in a few days. And
Yeah, we might as well go there.
Cash looks
spend
at
the last
Chloe and asks her to be stealthy and find trick.
Oh, sure, she can do that easily.
First of all, before we leave here, at some point when there's like a lull in the conversation, Chiron would try to get Zacharias' attention and basically say, I believe we have to talk, but not here.
Zacharias looks around. Yes, indeed, we do. Shall we get to it then?
Yes.
also, you probably would have noticed when you came in though, Azurius was like in his like disguise kit, like looking through, like, can I use this to disguise the horns?
Oh, look pretty fetching in this.
How does he feel about his new form? How does he approach this change?
Cash?
Oh, serious.
Cash form is
sorry.
the same.
Yeah, casually's got the same body. Azurius is
I thought the whole smoke thingy.
there's part of him seems like he's not paying much attention to it. Though if you're looking carefully with someone with exceptionally high perception such as Zacharias, you might notice he he almost seems like he's more determined now in some way, possibly to try and find a way to reverse it. But he's not letting it show. He seems to be more, focusing on other things.
Oh,
At least
sure.
outwardly. Internally, his fire might just be burning even more angrily.
Mixed with the inner fire of the orc.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the
it's not helping.
ferocity.
I have a
It's
propensity to fire.
It's kind of igniting my blood. But then that's absorbing all the water to put it out.
But as for Kyron and Zacharias, Kyron would basically usher Zacharias in like his room or Kyron's room, whatever. Just
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And then basically, as Zacharias enters first, then Kyron follows, and as he walks into the door, basically, well, you wouldn't have expected anything else. He changes in like one fluid motion into our good old friend Telemondus, who immediately begins pacing, basically, muttering to himself like he is not his usual like unsettling calm that he tries to project. He is one step above upset. As he then basically turns to Zacharias and says, "Are you aware of what you are asking of me, or going to ask of me? To be so audacious to think that you can manipulate Chargammon and then asking one of his own to help you. You know that I cannot refuse my help in this, but you are making me decide between Hell's Wrath and Chargammon's, and I cannot decide which I fear more. And yet, I cannot refuse, and what if I succeed? You may know Chargammon from children's books or whatever, but those hardly do him justice." He glares at Zacharias.
Yes, the tales of his might and power seems not to be exaggerated. Then looks at Telemundus. If he is as powerful as it is said, then he is a formidable creature indeed. He looks around. The problem is that we actually need his help. Theodora addresses thorns and thinks that only the threat of Chargammon will lure the king away from his crusade. And only then can we actually strike. In that regard, yes, for telling God to fall, we must have Chargammon on our side, as I see it. He motions to Telemundus. Yes, I realize that this might put you in a bad spot, Telemundus, but honestly, I do think that you are our best hope of ever getting close to Chargammon.
Telemundus narrows his eyes, looking at Zacharias. "If I am to help you, you will owe me. This will be a debt that you cannot ever hope to repay. And perhaps I can use that. Perhaps." He seems to consider.
Zacharias quirks an eyebrow. I will not be the only one you are helping. Telemundus, if this succeeds, I imagine you too will be held in some form of prominence.
Hardly prominence. My only reward for not failing is not failing, and the consequences that might have. In my current form, meeting Chargammon might as well mean that he decides to put me out of my misery instead of even considering my presence.
Zacharias thinks. Would you think it best then to simply not reveal you to Chargammon, or can he perhaps sense you anyway?
Frowns. I do not know. Anyways, saving Geraphon and giving him back to Chargammon is not going to convince him to do anything for us. On the other hand, getting rid of this annoying pest that seems to be targeting his spawn, now that might be something.
Zacharias half smiles and thinks, yes, well, if he holds no love for his spawn, at least, as you say, if we take out the thing that is threatening it, and by extent flaunting its power in the face of Chargammon, that might be worth something, yes.
Geraphon was too ambitious and he failed, got himself captured. Saving a sorry ass is not going to do anything. But removing one of the threats that may prove to be an annoyance to Chagaman, perhaps that is worth something.
What do we know? There's a Lord of Storms. You said before that you didn't know him.
I know nothing. It's a title. Something that he might have acquired recently, which may mean that I may have known him, but my knowledge is outdated, to say the least.
Do you know where your brother hunted for these princesses? Do you know where he laired?
I believe his favorite hunting grounds was the Carebriar, but I may be mistaken. As I said, things change. I have been indisposed for a while after my incident. Frowns, glares at Zacharias.
I never did ask what happened to you and why you're stuck in Cairn.
Yeah, good thing you didn't.
Oh, Telemundus.
It is hardly relevant to our mission, is it?
I suppose not. Well, we need to look into this Lord of Storms then, and perhaps see if we can end his reign. If we can free Yarathorn in them by doing so, maybe something good can come of it. At least Yarathorn will owe us a favor.
Telemondus snorts, whatever that may mean to him. Not everyone is so fond of agreements as I may be. Ironic as that may be. Well, I do know where Chargamon's lair is, whatever help that may prove to be. He frowns. Can't believe I'm telling you all this.
Very well then. Zacharias brings up a map or something. If you could mark his lair on this, then we know at least where we will go to perhaps meet our doom.
Well, Telemundus will mark the location of his lair on the map, which appears to be an island shaped like a spike. Which in normal naval maps is usually just labeled as "Here be monsters." Telemundus keeps pacing for a while.
The region of the sea is known for dire sharks and sea serpents.
Ooh.
If you go there, your ship could be swallowed whole by a huge monster.
Excellent.
You don't.
That's why we fly.
It's very stormy and has lots of underwater reefs that reef up and cut holes in anything that swims or flies. Well, not flies, but swims or sails.
Do we have it marked on the big map?
No.
Okay.
It's further out.
Further out. All right then. Is there anything else you can tell us about Chargamon that might give us a bit of an upper hand in negotiating with him? I assume, being a dragon, that he is vain and capricious and utterly devoted to destruction of everything that he doesn't like.
Basically, at every bad word about Chargamon that comes out of Zacharias' mouth, he will look angry to the point of, maybe losing his temper, as you may see. Insult him or one of my kind again, and I may lose myself, and that would be very unfortunate for you. But he is a dragon, yes. Thomas frowns, keeps pacing.
Zacharias smiles, so alright, be very polite then. Flattery, perhaps. Such a great creature does certainly like to be fawned upon, I imagine. Shouldn't overdo it, possibly. He has probably heard such things before. Thinks to himself, yes, well, if we can appear before him and offer him to take care of this pest for him, then yes, maybe he will stay his wrath enough to listen to any. And I think perhaps we can even somehow influence him, tell him that this Lord of Storms was sent by the king to flaunt his power and something like that. He sort of mutters to himself.
At the word influence, you hear Telemundus snorting quite loudly. Yes, influence, the most ancient of dragons that has ever existed. I'm sure that will... Well...
Zacharias looks at him. Well, he is a dragon, after all, as you said.
And even approaching him will be a problem. You know, you think you can just enter his lair and talk to him? He will kill you.
Well, the problem is that we need to enter the lair somehow and talk to him somehow, yes?
Oh yes, a lot of somehows. This sigh is a very odd sound for a dragon. I believe we have to attract his attention. Have him come to us. It all comes down to taking care of this Stormborn king, whatever he is. That may be our only lead.
Very well then. We should look into this Stormborn king and see what we can do with it.
And how are we going to find him? That name means nothing to me, and nor will it to anyone else.
Oh, I don't know. He used it in conversation with Polydorus, the wizard in Davran. If it's a title he is usually using, there might be something there. We can certainly look around. Certainly, Polydorus was not the only one this creature has conversed with.
It is hardly usual for dragons to converse with lesser races, you know.
If it is even a dragon, we don't know.
Oh, he must be. No other creature could have taken down one of my kind. Even though Jerophon is... He stops.
Well then, it seems that we have some looking into to do. Well, since we are in Gaston I suppose I can avail myself of some of the libraries. Perhaps something in there can shed some light on this thing.
Perhaps.
Good. And thank you for your insight, Telemundus. Zacharias smiles.
Telemundus frowns in return. Do not get us killed. Failure is not an option for me. You understand?
Neither for me. I do not plan to die in that dragon cave, Telemundus. I plan to win.
Telemundus frowns, and then in the usual transformation you see the more pleasant version of Chiron standing in front of you, who also looks kind of concerned about things. I know only what he knows, but if what he knows is truth, then this may get difficult.
Zacharias says it always is when the Cardinal is involved.
Well then, I suppose we should get going and do things.
Yes, I will head to the library and look around. See if I can dredge something up about this Stormborn king. He sighs. And then we'll head to the library. To do the thing he does best, look in books.
Alright, you spent the day researching.
Yep.
Did anyone else do anything interesting with the day?
When will Trick and Chloe be back?
Soon enough. Drake will not have found Wellmead yet.
Well, that's good. Well, Chloe will ask him to come back.
Sure.
Grumblejack will do whatever the Lord tells him to.
Stand in that corner over there.
Don't be
Oh,
so
Don't blink.
Don't be so modest.
Depending on Cash's mood, he will ask, if she wishes to perhaps inspect how the Shadow Whip is doing. After all, they have not really been in Gasnol for some time.
Oh, Cash nods.
Always let the Hellhound stay.
She looks at Horace. Well, apparently Horace is the only way for me to get food now. She looks a little...
You have to eat Hellhound.
No, smoke.
Well, there's lots of ways to generate smoke.
I know. But sure, let's do that. Cash will... she doesn't like to use that headband.
She'll certainly just use his ability to.
She doesn't have the ability herself. She looks at Trick. You can alter yourself, can't you?
You can do that.
Yes.
Can you alter my appearance so I don't look like a drow?
I cannot do yours.
She looks, well, I guess there's no other way around it, and she takes up the headband Thorn gave her, and she wears it so she can...
You want him not to be scryed on, is that the problem?
Yes.
You
can
could
do
just buy a
non-detection.
new one,
You can do non-detection on you for 50 gold pieces.
or you could just buy a second headband of disguise.
That's true, but...
With my 80 gold.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure money could be loaned. Let's see. Headband of.
Yeah, he does have non-detection, which is
No.
actually a fun thing.
Well, she'll ask Trick to cast non-detection on her,
Well,
and
that'll
she'll
cost
wear...
50 gold pieces. But you can then... You won't be able to be scryed on for like 10 hours.
That's the whole time.
Because there's a domain spell. Fun fact.
Well, she'll wear the headband and ask Trick to cast non-detection on her.
Sure, remove 50 gold.
From me or him.
You
Aww.
He doesn't have the money
have
on
a
him.
lot either.
We don't really pay our minions too well.
You can keep whatever you find.
No, now you can't be scryed on. Even by Zacharias.
Maybe that's bad, but you know.
Surius and Grumblejack do.
Well...
And Kyron.
Actually, yeah. So Azurius, he's going to go ahead, and one of the things he'll do is he'll pull out his makeup kit and go ahead and he'll go ahead and do a disguise on himself.
Sure.
He'll make himself look, human-esque.
Sure. Now, an orc is not entirely unacceptable in Gasnol, if any place. There's the forward quarter where he could go.
That is certainly true, which I believe the warehouse I rented out was in the foreign quarter.
Yes.
Which is good, because I want to go find my minions.
All right. Some of them hold up there.
That's a really interesting thing that happens when the orc walks through the door.
Cash will ask Chloe to stay here in case something happens. Chloe can tell them, hey, Cash is scared.
Sure.
And Horace too. Stay!
Arrgh.
Sure.
Kyron will stay in the mansion and try to look for anything that gets him drunk.
All right. You can have some wine brought.
Excellent. A barrel of wine. There we go.
All right. A barrel of wine. Cheap wine.
That won't be enough.
Well, cheap and sort of strong wine. Well, yeah. The day passes. George, could you make a local, I think we'll go with? And you get a +5 bonus.
Alright.
Zacharias can't do this.
Let's see here. Don't have it in my list, apparently.
Also, intelligence +5 if you don't have actually trained.
Yep.
We should do a damn good check. It's 14.
'22.
All Alright, well, you'll find a book detailing, apparently, what is some creatures in the Gabriar. And when it gets to the point of the giant eagles, you'll actually say that they have a rather interesting community that this scholar has wished to study for some time. It is known that that a rather large part of the Gabriar is claimed by someone called the Stormborn King, the Lord of Eagles, who has his court of giant eagles. He works closely with what is apparently a creature resembling a man and a bird in one.
Oh, it's him!
As his agent.
It's Birdman!
He himself is apparently a one of the very few existing actual sort of storm birds.
Remember Birdman? We killed him in Horn.
He has claimed a rather large area as his
Birdman.
hunting grounds.
Might
And
not
he
be
rules
Birdman,
from
it might
the
be one
Eyrie.
of his kind though.
Does it specify more precisely where in the Carebriar?
It does. It does specify sort of where it is. And generally, he does also have a few, his eagles will fly, and they will be the ones to contact others usually.
Alright. Well, that's very good then. And we have a location, we know roughly what it is. We just need to get in there and rip it up. How hard could it be, right?
We've killed Birdman before.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be some angelic super bird. We did kill a phoenix, but then we had Marcus with us, so... Well...
I want to play.
It is sort of, it is by the mountains, in what is to the Iranian a holy fissure in the rock. Why has made his lair? It is noted that this man has not been inside of it. He's seen from the outside. It's very difficult to spot from below, and it is also kind of almost impossible to climb up to the opening.
Well, that's not a huge problem for us.
The eagle, however, does take attendance.
We can seek an audience, like,
wishing
hello.
To talk to him.
Just show up and then just slay him. Yeah, I don't know.
Your attendance for today is 1 dose of dead.
I don't know. I have a feeling he might not really trust us when we show up.
What gives you that clue?
Armed to the teeth with like unholy weapons and
Just-
stuff.
Have Kyren go up there. Hello, I'm a black dragon.
Telemundus flies up. Greetings.
Hello, I'm an orc.
I come in peace.
Yeah. Pretty sure you're not.
Bluff check. Bluff check.
Yeah, how is Telemundus' bluff check?
He's not bad.
What's the bonus?
It's a plus 16?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, plus 16.
Beats my one though, I haven't specialised in it.
Yeah, the skill check is actually wrong.
I know-
It should have been a 25.
Then, with this information, I suppose we're heading to the Carebriar to take down this damn eagle.
What about Marcus?
Well,
We don't really have anything to go on, do we?
I've sicked the vampires and Void Senate and Brother Thrain on it. That's all the resources I have when it comes to research, short of doing it myself.
Well, they did have a week to find out some stuff. How long has it been?
It's been like
2
3 days, something like that.
2 days.
Oh,
I mean, we certainly can wait. We have until the end of the month when Theodora shows up.
As Theodora said though, the faster we can do it, the better.
Maybe we get bonus XP if we do a speedrun.
Maybe.
I
I know.
getting work done in the meantime. We might as well.
I would prefer to have Marcus with us. For well, you know, he is an incredibly powerful combatant, and also it's probably more fun for Jake to
Yeah, I would much rather have Marcus there.
to if we're actually gonna go out and like start fighting and rampaging through things again. Maybe we
Reviving Marcus is a monumental task, though.
okay.
Something that basically cannot be done. Trying to find a way to do it anyway. Probably not something that's going to be trivial.
So what you're saying, it doesn't matter if we wait. We're still not gonna have any.
Perhaps.
Well, if that is the case, then we might as well get to it, right?
Regardless, you could of course wait. We could, because if you're getting late, we could take some downtime in Gast and all the people do some downtime work. I mean, even if it is a monumental task, working on it certainly would not be a bad idea.
Right.
And of course, I'm sure some people want to go ahead and do some work.
I have
You might have
67 days worth of crafting for the
Maybe
guys to do or
take some-
something.
Items and whatnot.
Then I have like additional
We
week
could
of crafting.
go until like the next 6 days, until day 30,
Yeah.
and then go to Davrin and basically have day 30 beginning, day 30 morning be the next starting point.
Sure. That
If
sounds
you want to
good.
take,
Sure.
good 6 days of downtime,
Sure. That sounds good.
Gaston Hall.
I'm working under the assumption here that waiting 6 days is not going to be detrimental to us. Not
Okay.
bad for us. There we go.
Is this like, yeah, you know, you would metagame a bit and say if Malachi said, oh, you can wait
We're not
until
gonna
the end.
die.
Yeah, just you
No.
can wait to the end,
You
and
can
then we
do
wait.
your thing, and I expect that if it's something they'll require, I will hear from you what you're gonna be doing for these 6 days. If you do absolutely nothing, maybe it's better to play it because then you do something. But it lets everyone do their individual things without having to spend time doing each individual thing all together at the same time. It's more efficient, really, and you get to have a little more time to think about what you want to do.
I would not be against downtime.
Me neither.
Up to you guys, really.
Especially since you
From
both
Jack
really
to
have
Danny.
Gastonol and Davrin to operate in.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like we decide to have downtime.
All right. Well, we almost got the party back to where it was.
Almost.
We almost put the band
What was
back
you
together.
saying?
You know, I'm a bit nervous if we're going up against like dragons and stuff to not have Marcus with us because he's pretty good at that stuff. But god damn it.
Has Marcus actually ever had any combat apart from grappling the Duke after becoming a vampire?
He killed in the prison that one guard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
And
that's something.
duelist guy.
Yeah, and I
Oh yeah. Oh
smacked
yeah.
down
Okay.
Rodrigo.
But yes,
So-
Zacharias,
so yeah,
what you're
Ted is
saying
one
about
of-
just being normal again.
Alright, then I guess we'll end the session here.
Alright, there. That ends the session. Join us next time for where we actually get on with the adventure again.
Hooray!
Now with Hellhounds and Orcs.
Hooray!
Oh, and I guess technically a cache.
Oh.
Okay, now it's chat time. Questions, comments, feedbacks, complaints,
Outrage.
I'm an orc.
outrage.
You know, if Zacharias dies and is reincarnated as a lizard, that would be the best because then he's a lizard wizard.
The lizard wizard.
Hey, I'm a lizard wizard.
On the roll of 100, you turn into an awakened sheep, and you can take one of sheep's photos for it.
The wizard sheep. I like the lizard wizard. Yes, True Resurrection will be able to bring Marcus back. The problem
Proven past
is
True
we
Resurrection.
don't know anyone who can cast True Resurrection. It's a level 9 spell. I don't think there is anyone in Talengar that can cast it, except maybe like the High Cardinal of the Mithrin Church or something.
Actually, the
I don't
High
think that.
Can't cast spells at all.
Oh, if he even can. Yeah, exactly.
He's a priest, he's not a cleric.
Do we know who the most powerful cleric is in Talengar?
I have that. I actually have that written.
Yeah, I mean, there are few. The
I can
Oracle
share my phone.
of Mithra certainly was one of them.
Oh yeah, we killed her.
That's not too hard to do, at least.
The good. Don't remember his name. High Priest of the Veil certainly was one of the other.
Where's my notes?
He certainly was.
I haven't opened them in a while.
She taught a lot of other.
You're very, very low, Manikai.
It happens.
Nope.
So we killed those that.
I couldn't cast Night Level spells.
There we go. Jonas? Yeah, the Bishop of the Grand Cathedral, Cardinal Leo Aristus, is not a spellcast. The Inquisitor Head is a very powerful spellcaster, though.
Yeah, whatever his name was.
Brother Cassius the Stricken.
Mm.
It's all inside Azurius' notebook.
Yeah, so maybe he could do it. Maybe Thorn can do it, but he hasn't made an inclination
Thorn
to
is
do
kind
it.
of an awkward one to think about for this. Like, what do you do?
I mean, he would be my go-to choice. I mean, he's a cleric.
How
on
do
our
you
side.
go to him?
I would grab hold of Theodora and say, "You will bring this message to Thorn. That if he wishes to do things, he will help resurrect Marcus, and we will pay for the damn thing. But he needs to cast a spell, if he
Very
can."
well then. I'll just plane shift you to hell with me.
Fine.
I've been there, it's awful.
And then she'll plane shift again, and this time skip using you.
Rooms are so cramped this time of year.
It's cramped in hell. Like, oh, so many.
Only this time of year.
Really, she could just,
like
if she did that though, she could just abandon you in hell.
Let's see. So yeah, if true resurrection is a problem, I'll certainly talk to Theodora and send her to Thorn to ask. Maybe he's like, oh, I can do it.
Maybe she will do it if Zacharias were to warm a little up to her.
No. There are other places in the world in Talengard, but Talengard is the scope of the campaign. I don't think we will be leaving it.
We don't have a good way to get off the continent. I mean, I could plane shift to the other side, I guess.
Yeah, we would.
Finding people outside who would give it, who can do that sort of magic and would give a damn about you.
We would. The only place in Golarion I know of my hand would be we travel to either Absalom or Geb.
Shiliax might have a high enough someone.
Yeah, Shiliax might have. The problem is we barely know of these countries, and we've never been there. So.
And we wouldn't pick up a random person and go, "You are in the Whispering North now. Congratulations."
Yeah, that's not a problem because Onarius asked, "What is the deal with Marcus? Is Jake making a new character, or is Marcus going to come back?" As Sheep said, making a new character is kind of weird because
as we play this game currently, this is a story, and it is the story of the 5 main characters. As such, if they die, that is not necessarily the end of the story. The story can continue, and you can be one of the minion characters. I mean, you really pick which one you want the most, which one you think you'd have most fun playing. Although Grumblejack is the logical choice, and you can sort of enjoy that a little bit. You can even change between them sometimes if it gets a little dull.
Raiju's coming on this mission. No Trick's coming on this mission.
But if it is possible to bring someone back, then that's probably what we're going to be waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. A minion gives you the opportunity to still be a part of it. As Yake says, it's a bit of a blow to. It's a bit of a downgrade, power-wise, at least, and
a bit of a downgrade.
Yeah, from Marcus to Grumblejack.
From one-shotting phoenixes to having 60 HP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grumblejack with sufficient weapons can certainly do something.
He has a very good weapon.
You said sorry.
Yeah, but armor.
Yeah, +2 unholy is pretty damn good.
Yeah, we need to maybe look at his armor, see if we can do something. The problem is we're fighting creatures now that have a +30 on their BAB and stuff, so it's really difficult to.
Have you looked at his spell-like abilities, Jake?
Oh, what?
Grumblejack's spell-like abilities.
I haven't really looked at them, but from what I remember though, when we got them, it's Unholy Blight and stuff like that. It's not too useful against these higher level enemies that we're at now. Mm-hmm. It's just 48 damage or something.
Manikai, what is the highest level of scroll we can buy?
7.
Like-
7, I think.
7, not 8.
We knew this anyway. We already asked him what's the highest one we could get because Zacharias
Yeah,
wanted
but
to
this
buy a
might
time
have
slot.
changed now. Maybe the economy is better nowadays.
Actually, doing
No,
a
if
little
anything,
worse.
What with the death disease in Gaston
The
Hall?
You know,
whole
it'd be worse if
structure,
anything. It might have been
devil and
downgraded to
whatnot.
6.
You know, a lot of people profit from that kind of thing.
Well, they certainly do, but they're not the kind of people who sell divine scrolls.
Or just, night
Magic is highly regulated.
And I suppose, like, arcane scrolls are even harder to find.
Yep.
Ah.
Except from the bar.
Because the church. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of bother.
Eat black.
True Resurrection would do it. We don't know anyone who can cast it. We don't have any body parts of Marcus left. He was like brought to another plane or something. I don't
Normal
know.
resurrection doesn't work on undead anyway.
Nope. So Miracle Wish or True Resurrection is the way to go, or
All of which
this.
are 9th level spells.
Yes, or we do it like we're doing now. Basically, throw all our mind resources to it and see what we can come up with.
Yeah,
Concentrate on getting them back.
I have an inkling what Manika is hinting at. I don't know how far away that is. However, I hope it's not too far for Jake. It would be sad for him to be stuck in in a month or so in Gromjack.
Yeah, when you talked to Vestromo, he basically said something like that has been done before.
Yes, then I am pretty sure I know what he's talking about.
But like dragons intervened or something.
I am basically, I'm just stuck right now drowning my sorrows in pork chops, garlic bread, and carrots. That's what I'm doing.
In hell.
Oh, then you have nothing to be sad about.
I'm done.
I didn't know that's what I didn't know that was in the Hell's canteen.
Jonas, why didn't you ask him who is it instead of all the guessing?
Hmm?
Why didn't you just ask him who he was talking about?
Because I don't want to show my hand.
He doesn't want to make it look like he doesn't know.
Oh God.
He's a wizard after all.
That explains everything.
No, that
Right?
is the worst explanation.
He'll pick it up from context.
You're so
He knows.
Well, it's on you if it's gonna take a month to get Marcus back just because you didn't want to ask.
No. I'm gonna talk to Malachi about this in private a bit.
Sure.
Not in a.
That's what downtime's for.
Right.
You know?
Talking to the DM, that's madness.
I know. Yeah, I didn't want to show my hand.
And I
quite
take it
yet.
you don't want to craft anything in the 6 days, Jonas?
No.
Of course not.
Yeah, he's
Unless it is something that is extremely urgent.
Everything I have is extremely urgent.
More urgent. I mean, seriously, if there is something like, oh god, we really need this, I'll take a look at it. But I would like as much time as I can do my crafting because it's getting fairly close.
Whatever
And,
it may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you
shape
said,
that
that
demand-
73 hours of work or whatever.
Hmm?
This sheep said he had like 1 million hours of work.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
Line up.
So
Otherwise,
Basically, I have 36,000 gil that I don't want to use on anything because I want the things crafted to save money.
Yes.
So did what if we got those I forgot his name, the shaman to resurrect Marcus? What would happen?
There's nothing to resurrect.
Yeah, he's not alive. He wasn't alive, so there's probably nothing to resurrect.
you can't. That's the problem. You can't resurrect undead. It doesn't work.
Okay, well, this is kind of weird. So maybe.
But yeah, sheep. The people wanted. Someone said about like updating the photo because it's no longer really appropriate. So this, I sent you one in Skype, which is the best one for you to use.
Better one. Okay, that's a good one.
Do you like my editing skills for that?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the best. I agree with the chat. The Zacharias Theodora thing.
There we go. Look at this.
Well, if we get big enough to get fan fiction, then I don't even care.
Yeah, the hot fan fiction between Zacharias and Theodore.
And then Kyron is just like sitting on the pitch, like hanging out.
Like a shirt with it on.
Yeah.
If I saw that in the street, I'd look twice.
Oh, I really like that situation where Zacharias basically had to choose between Theodora and Telemundus, and he was probably like, oh. That's probably one of the worst decisions to make. That was great. I liked it.
When RC 817, oh no, sorry, what Swat Tunga writes on it, does that mean you're on it with making a fan fiction? I'll read it if you do.
Yeah, Jonas, before you'd even finish the conversation with her, I had already finished that picture and sent it to Tyne, because Tyne can vouch. The one with the big love heart there. Like, okay, I have to grab this moment.
Seize the moment. I was thinking he's not gonna kiss her. He's so.
Of course he's not.
He is...
I was looking forward in case he did.
Yeah, I think we all were. Did you see the chat? Everyone's like, kiss her, kiss her.
No. That is not. Hell will freeze over before that happens.
Why didn't you just say that to her then instead of maybe?
Because he wants to string her along, tease her back.
He doesn't want to let her win.
Exactly.
And every comment she gets from him, every annoyance she can give him is her winning.
But he will have his reckoning. Oh yes.
Because that means that she's controlling him and deciding what he does, which is be annoyed. You know, so it's really all rather childish sort of
Well,
way.
no.
Wait, you don't know what I'm doing.
Well, actually, I do. You changed the picture.
So is someone gonna make another one like the one with the two in the water for the session?
Yes, there you go.
With the what?
And then some green.
Clearly, what we need is we need a we also need a picture of like Cash breathing smoke.
Yeah.
Well, so now she survives on smoke.
Wait, that's wrong.
That's the worst. What are you doing?
There we go, perfect. That's a really bad green.
That's perfect. Yep.
That's better.
It's
On the
perfect.
bright side,
Yeah.
the chat seems to approve of me taking the risk.
Whale Cash.
She's not a whale, she's a
Cash
volcano.
Cash riding as a volcano on a whale.
That looks really weird now.
You're terrible.
That looks very weird, yes.
Yeah, but he's not blonde anymore. Well, dark-haired anymore. Now he's blonde.
Yeah, my layers in here are all messed up.
Well, I think I will end the recording here. And, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. And see you in the next session. Where we will maybe go to fight an eagle of some sort. And hopefully not die horribly. And maybe then go to talk to a dragon. And maybe find a way to resurrect Marcus, because, oh god. Grumblejack sucks.
He doesn't suck, he's just, a minion.
Yeah.
Or I mean, all of your characters suck.
Yep.
You're not good bosses. And no sane people would want to join your side.
That's why we take all the insane ones.
And with that, see you in the next one.